Even with the cooler weather we've had, our pepper plants that we got planted are doing good, but you can see all the hail damage on them from the hail. That we had a storm that had a lot of hail, and you can see all the damage. I think they'll be okay though. They still, you can see even there's some new growth coming out, so I think they'll just be fine. There's some blooms, but they sure will like it once the warmer weather comes back. The irises have been just beautiful this year. These are the ones I started on the bank in the hopes that they would kind of take over. They have spread, you can see, but you can see there's a tree growing right in the middle of them, and a whole lot of weeds, and the horrible vine, which I've discovered is bittersweet. I thought that's what it was, and then I figured out for sure it's what it is bittersweet. So I need to try to beat that one back. The bad part is it runs underground in runners, so it's almost impossible to get rid of once a bird drops a little seed in your area, and it's all over the place here. Didn't used to be, but it's just one of those invasive things that have made its home right here at my home. Got lots and lots of blooms or buds for blooms on the roses. This is just going to be beautiful. This is the other color. Not as many blooms, but it's got a few. Our tame blackberries are still blooming. You see this one has there are different kinds, of course. This one has like a pink, really delicate pink. Ones over there on that end are more of just solid white. Lots of blooms though, so I hope that means lots of berries. Matt's trying to work on the driveway where we've had some storms in the last 2 weeks. Heavy rains just really washed it. But today we're going to plant our tomatoes. I was trying to look for, I guess this right here is the biggest one. I'll show you. You can see how long, how big they are. Getting really long, so they need to be put in the ground. I wonder if this is this is a Randy Hooper. That's exciting to see one that's doing that good. So I'm going to kind of separate them out, save some for Granny. I need to call Corey and ask her. I think she's got all she needs, but she may want some of these. She started some herself here in the greenhouse, so she's got some. And then I think she even bought some from Betty and Pat, so I'll need to see about that, and then we'll figure out where we're going to plant them. We're going to have to work on the beds before we get them planted. We're going to have to clean out the beds, so that'll be the hardest part. The rest of it will go pretty quick. I was a little chilly outside, but it's warm in here already. I've had to shed my coat. I guess I could make a tray for, I went ahead and took the Randy one out there. I see some more right there. Make a tray of the Tommy Toes, the Cherokee Purple, the Randys, and then I guess a tray for what we're going to give Granny. And try to straighten up in here too. This time of the year, even earlier than this, the greenhouse is like the hub of the whole garden. And then once this is we've already done the peppers, so this is the last thing. Once we get these out, it'll just be like we're really bad to just turn our back and walk away and leave the mess until, sometimes till next spring, till we're about to start planting again. So this year I'm going to try to do better and try to straighten as I go. Two that I replanted that still didn't come up. That one's awful little. If we saved one for somebody else, we could save that one. This is the Randy Hoopers. Okay, I guess that my last tray over there must be all of our Tommy Toes. I should call Corey though and see about her. You been to a fairyland or something?
What do you ask?
You've got flowers in your hat. I don't know if the folks can see it or not.
I'm trying to track bees.
Track bees? Well, you don't have no problem with that.
I'm just trying to make it more hospitable around.
Giving them a place to go.
And my face.
Give them, maybe if you do that, they'll go there instead of your face.
Yeah.
Okay. I think. I'd like to say we're ready to start, but first we got to fix the beds, right?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's a little bitty black cherry. Okay, I think these are all the Tommy toes are in this one. So feels good to clean out the greenhouse, other than these that are still here. And these were I need to water these and need to plant these today too. We got these from Granny from Pat and Betty, so I need to make sure we plant those today. So she really may not need any other tomatoes. So we'll just have to see if I've got any water. No. They will soon dry out. Go ahead and give these some too. I guess I should water Corey's for a minute. I don't even know where that come from, but maybe it's Corey's. Okay. I think we're ready to go. Thanks has come to help. So first we got to clean out this mess. Let me pull out. You can hoe and I'll pull up and take a lot of it to the chickens. Well, that was the easiest we ever filled a bed with compost, wasn't it?
Easier than it used to be.
Remember in the old days how many wheelbarrows would that took?
More than 2 buckets full. I mean, more than twice up the hill, I can tell you that.
And a whole lot of effort.
A whole lot of sweating and complaining.
Tractor wins again.
Yeah. I've already fixed the driveway this morning with it too before we started, did.
I know. Wonderful. All right,
I'll eventually get like the cowboys.
Yeah.
And if I can't do it off the tractor,
you just won't do it.
Yeah. That's the way they are. If they do everything they do off a horse, according to what you see on TV.
Yeah, and they won't get off their horse.
So.
You're not gonna get off your Kubota, huh?
Right. I'm just gonna stay on it. I can see. I've already got me a rope tied to it. All I need is a scabbard for my rifle.
Yeah, and you just take.
And I just stay on that thing the whole time.
Yeah.
Don't think about that.
Be roaming the range in it, huh?
Get me a set of Kubota chaps, orange chaps. I got some orange chaps. I ought to be wearing them.
Yeah, put them on. Especially today, they'd feel good.
A little hot for that.
All right, I'll keep hoeing and you go get some more.
We're gonna need a big shovel or two too to shovel this.
Are they up here or down at the basement?
I'll get them down there. They're down there while I'm digging.
All right.
It's convenient to put it there out of the way.
Hey, Katie, if you're just talking, why don't you go make me a bobby fillet?
A what?
A bobby fillet.
Make your mama a bobby fillet.
You mean some of that electric light
Some
water?
of them electric lights.
Yes.
Would you like some of the bobby fillet?
Yeah, I would.
Bobby fillet is a chef.
Oh, well, what am I talking about?
You're trying-
Bobby approved.
Bobby
Yeah, you
approved.
either say Bobby approved or Bobby from Flav City.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Bobby from Flav City.
And
Could you
there's
go
also
make?
a Bobby fillet, not fillet.
It's Bobby Flay.
Bobby fillet used to have pickings.
Yeah, that's him. That's who we were talking about. Of course, his last name is Parrish. Bobby Parrish. That's
Okay,
him.
well, go make
Isn't
me
that
a
so
Bobby
funny?
Parrish drink, electric lights, full of electric lights. I like grape, or there's a coconut one.
Corey said red. That's where she could hear you.
Just bring me the water and I'll put some of this in it and mix it up.
Okay. I know. So, Dad, do you want some?
Yeah.
What color?
I don't care. Just
You
surprise
don't
me. I'll
color
drink
colors.
any of it.
What, Mom? What color do you want?
I mean grape, or
Okay.
I just don't like. I don't like lemonade. Is
No
what I'm
lemonade.
saying.
It's because you are un-American.
Well, now I like lemonade that I make, but I just don't like the powdered electric light lemonade. Okay. That Bobby
That's okay.
that Bobby Flay makes it.
But got too much crap in the way to get around back
I
here.
don't know. Got too many knickknacks in my garden.
What?
So the rest will go fast once we get this part done.
I don't know. I'm not an authority. All right. I mean, that stuff smells like, well, what it is, it smells like.
Is that my Bobby Flay?
Yeah. Here's yours. That's great. Dad, here's yours. Yours is fruit
I
punch.
guess mine is special.
It's special. It's not been poisoned.
We went in and had some dinner. I had watermelon and I made mine out of grilled cheese. Good grilled cheese.
You buddy.
He's gonna lay out the plants and we'll get started planting them. Oh, I do need to take a picture. Matt's got gloves on. I've never seen this before.
Well, I figured if we're digging in the doo-doo.
Yeah, digging in the compost, horse manure.
Right.
So the way we plant our tomatoes is we put some Epsom salt in the hole. We plant them pretty deep. If I can get a close up here of the, I don't know if I can get one or not. If you have a tomato plant, I think you can see it. You can see all those little hair-like places. So those will just root. So we like to plant them pretty deep, and those will just root into the soil like the bottom roots will. And we put that Epsom salt in there because somebody told us to do that. I have no memory of who, 20 years ago when we were planting tomatoes. And we did, and it seemed to work, so we do it every year. And it does have benefits. You can search online and read about all the benefits, but Matt and I don't even think about that. We just remember that whoever told us to do it, we did it, and it was a success. So every year since then, that's what we do. We'll wait till late this evening. We'll come out here and water them. And I think it's supposed to rain for the next couple of days, so hopefully we won't have to water them again. But if it doesn't rain, we'll water them for the next day or two, and then we'll just let them go on their own. Unless it was to get like last year and be a terrible drought, but we're hoping that doesn't happen. Nice to see the promise of the blueberries. More irises blooming down in there behind. Here's a yellow color. They're really pretty when you've got the purple and the yellow together. We plant the rest of our tomatoes down here on this front panel. Matt went to get us a load of compost. We'll just put right under it and then plant right in that compost. These will all be the Randy Hooper one. I'm excited about them.
Didn't they put the Wi-Fi on that side of the road? You come off the car pole. It comes from down here somewhere.
Yeah.
Where you gonna put them?
You say wherever you
Dig holes and then put the baskets over.
Well, they ain't got much room there.
That gonna have to be right there on the edge.
Yeah. Get Paul to come out here late this evening and water those. It's hot right now. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Have I got popsicle all over my face?
Nah.
Do I really?
No, you look fine.
I felt a big piece land. It has got rather warm today.
Learned something this morning
What?
from watching Mike Reed's video.
What?
Them things are, them bees, them carpenter bees, and look at them, they just
Eating our house?
eating it alive. They're territorial, that's why they're
Why they
on
fight?
top of each other and run each other and chase each. That's what's going on. Need to make 2 or 3 traps like I seen him make this morning. I like him and his videos. He's always something useful.
Yeah, we want to make hominy like he did on the stove, but we never did get it done. Now we ain't building a fire, of course, so maybe that'll be a project for next winter.
Yep. What is the name of his channel? I can't never remember it.
You just think of his first name.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good guy.
I guess just survivor skills and OT.
Survival skills and others, maybe?
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
survivors. We can put a link, but survival. I can't even say it. Skills and other.
Yeah, don't listen to us. We're idiots. But he's got a great channel. Full of all kinds of useful stuff, so check him out. I enjoy watching his stuff.
Feels very good to get all the tomatoes planted. We've about got the garden laid by, except for all the weeding and all that. But we've about got everything planted. I think
Let's
that's
see.
pretty much it.
In about 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
of course this is just a dream within my head and it will never happen, but it sounds good to me now. In about 3 or 4 years, weeding can become the job of grandchildren.
Maybe.
We will pass the torch.
Yeah. We used to make our girls weed.
Yeah.
Saturday morning in the cornfield. They didn't like it much, but today they're glad they did it.
Yeah, and these boys ain't gonna like it either. They'll be in the creek the whole time. That's the way I would have been too.
You can bribe them with weed one bed, and then I'll take you to the creek.
I know how that went at my house. You weed one patch of the garden and maybe I won't whoop you hind end. That's how it went at my house. And that would have been a maybe.
While we were down at Granny's getting hers planted and the baskets on them, Matt went down to the big garden to look around and see if anything we planted to come up down there. Nothing's come up yet. It's not had time, I don't guess, and today's warm. This is the warmest day we've had.
Yeah.
We've been having like blackberry winter, went on for a week or so. Anyway, but he did see some deer tracks, just one set of tracks. So we're going to have to get our alarms back out. And we've had, since we've started doing gardening videos, we get all kinds of questions every year about how in the world do we keep animals out of our garden. Well, thankfully, we don't never have that problem. I mean, up until last year, really, it's the first year that we were affected by the deer. But as far as like rabbits and groundhogs and those kind of things, squirrels even, we just never had that problem. And probably because we, in our holler here, there's several people that have dogs and they're not leashed and they're not in a cage or, you know, in a fenced-in area. So they just roam as they will. And if they roam through your yard and there's a groundhog, then they give chase and it becomes a 2 or 3 day event of them trying to get it. And so, in other words, the animals just know that if they come in this area that they're going to be hounded by a hound or something similar to a hound, some kind of dog. Hound wannabe. Yeah. So that helps us a lot. It's just that there's dogs that are free to roam around, and now we have a cat that's free to roam around too. So he's good for the moles and that kind of stuff.
They'd get him after the deer.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Fierce as he is, if he could get nose to nose with one, he'd probably try it.
Probably. But the deer, even though they were all around us, we never had any trouble with them until last year. And they didn't bother our garden up here at our house. And we're just constantly in and out of the house, in the yard all day long. So that's probably why. But the big garden, which is more kind of isolated, and then Granny's little garden, which is, you know, there's not people all the time in her yard because she's not able to be out every day. So that's where they struck. And we didn't know, we tried like some of the things what do you call them, like sprays, or you paint on some sticks and put around. Those didn't really seem to help. And then someone told us about the alarms, so we tried those, and those did work. They scared the deer off and they didn't come back for the rest of the season. Now, I'll put the link to them in the description below. They are really annoying. Matt doesn't like them, but they did work. So we're going to put them back out again this year. We also put streamers out last year. Matt says he didn't want to do the streamers because he thinks the streamers set off the alarms. So, and they didn't. We had streamers out before we had the alarms, and they weren't stopping the deer. We're just ignoring them. So I might still put them, though, in my blueberry bushes just to try to help the blue jays, keep the blue jays off. But so if you do have those problems, we're not really the best people to ask because we've just not had to deal with it. I know a lot of people, it's like the groundhogs and the coons, they will trap them and then take them somewhere and release them. You could do that, certainly, or maybe there's somebody in your area that would do that for you. I don't know about squirrels and things like that. Do they have like a squirrel netting or something like that?
I think so.
So some of you probably have some tips about those things, and if you do, put them in the comments, and then other people can learn from what you've had to figure out at your house. So share that information.
The biggest problem we had last year was coons. I mean, the deer were there and they wandered through them, but they didn't spend. It ain't like they just kept coming back to it. What was knocking over the corn stalks and getting the corn cobs was coons. And we have an overabundance of those.
The deer ate Granny's peas, ate her beans, and then they ate our beans in the big garden. And by the time they done that, they were pretty good size. And then we had such a terrible dry year. We replanted all that, but it just could never make it. So it didn't make hardly nothing. Granny's garden was a total flop.
I have a theory and a plan.
Okay.
I don't know how well it will go over, but my theory is this. If the deer are residing and spending all their time inside a white box in my basement, they're not eating the garden.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a good plan.
Win-win.
And we have people ask that, well, it's on your property. Where you live, can you not just shoot the deer? You can't. It's against the law unless it's during season. Or unless you get a permit, you can go and prove that they're eating your garden. Degradation, what's it called?
Depredation.
Depredation
And
permit.
that's a yeah, don't get me started on that. That's an idiotic process that I don't want to fool with.
Hunting season is in the fall, which by then your garden's over with. But thankfully, me and Matt are real thankful we've not had to fight them like some people do, where they have have to put up high fences and then they jump the fence, or they still figure out how to get in, and I mean they can jump really high. So we've not had to do any of that. We might someday, but we've not so far. But for the smaller animals, definitely it helps that we just have dogs that roam around and love to chase things.
Right.
So.
And as far as the coons and stuff go, you can live trap them and relocate them.
Yeah. The farmer down the road that grows corn up until last year, I mean, when Pap was alive, we still grew corn all the time. Of course, we just had our own corn, but then these years in between that we've not grown any, we would buy from him, and it's just one after another that he catches. It's a continuous thing all summer long. How many was it they said he caught last year? It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But he just live trap them like that.
Yep.
So when we were planting the tomatoes down at Granny's and down here, we took some of the compost down at Granny's and we had some left over, so I was dressing her green beans with it, but we didn't have enough, so we'll have to go back and add some more. And then we wanted to fertilize her potatoes, so maybe tomorrow we can go back and do both of those. We would like to, we buy compost every year. We've got a video about compost where we talk about it, and about mulching. We did mulch every year, but we've not done that last year, year before last, or this year, have we?
No.
But I would like to, because it keeps the weeds down. So, but probably don't look like we're going to do it this year. But we do, people have asked me recently too a lot of questions about compost, and you can find all kinds of videos about scientific methods of composting, and people that know a lot more about it than Matt and I do. We don't even call what we do, we wouldn't do a tutorial or nothing like that because you shouldn't follow us, but we have chickens, so we have all their stuff that we clean out stuff, we pile it up, and then we throw on top of that anything, like today when we cleaned out those beds for the tomatoes, throw all that, throw vegetable scraps, whatever it is, and that's it. And we don't turn it over, and we don't do all the things that people tell you that you should do. And then when we need compost, we just go back and get it. In addition to that, we also buy what is called mushroom compost in our area. We usually get a load of that almost every year, I guess, pretty much we do. And then we replenish the beds with it.
And it works well.
Yeah, it works well.
Works really well for tomatoes.
And it is really horse manure.
Yeah.
Horse manure, so.
Yeah.
We had a comment thinking about all the gardening videos that we've been doing, that was worried that because Matt had cut those trees and the bushes down at the creek, that then our garden would just wash into the creek and be gone. But it's, in my lifetime, that's been done so many times. You have to, if you live in southern Appalachia, you either have to beat back nature or let it take over, and you just don't have anywhere, Right. It would be I don't want to see it because I want to keep our garden, but it would only take 2 years, 3 years at the most, but probably even 2 years, and there would be trees growing in the middle of the garden. It's just not, we just live in such a, what do you call it? Well, we're in a temperate rainforest, right? And things just grow like crazy. But as far as those along the bank there, the people that was worried about erosion, the roots of all that stuff is still in the ground, and then it's not that big of a creek, and it's not that big of a drop off that you'd really ever have to worry about erosion.
And it's absolutely slam full of rocks.
Yeah, it's full of rocks.
And also, by the end of this summer, if I don't keep that thing cleaned off, there'll be saplings bigger than your thumb, head high, growed back, You know, so it's never really been a problem.
No, and it might be in a place where if you live and you've got different kind of soil or
Right,
different kind of
right.
climate or whatever, but not here. It's not. It's like the bank behind us. The year that we had Thomas cut all that, people was really worried about. Well, now it would erode, and we knew it wouldn't because we've lived here long enough, and we have to cut it ever so often. Normally, Matt does it. That year we got Thomas to do it, and. But now you can see all the stuff grew back because, again, they cut all the stuff down, but the roots were still there. And the nature of trees, and especially the ivy and the laurel and all this stuff, that kind of bushes that's on this bank, all tons of sweet gum trees, they just come right back out. They just sucker right back out.
Mm-hmm.
So even, you know, if we cut it right now and this bank was looked like it had been trimmed back, by the end of the summer there'd be stuff growing on it.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of it. But again, if you live somewhere in a different climate or a different soil, you may have a problem with erosion, but it's not something that we have to deal with right here. And again, we've lived here long enough that we know that bank's been cut. I think I've got blog pictures writing about it on the blog one year that you and Daddy cut down trees down there.
Did we?
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, that's been 15 years ago.
Yeah,
probably.
the girls were probably in 7th grade or something like that. Yeah. But so it's been done before, and this bank's been done I don't even know how many times since we've lived here. Because again, if we didn't keep it cut back, it would just encroach. Another thing people would ask about the garden was, how big is it? It's hard to tell on video if it's really, really big or not that big at all. So I'm terrible at telling how large something is. But Matt, what is it? How long and how wide, maybe?
Well, we was talking about it last night, and I think after I walked down there a minute ago, I was kind of misjudged what I told you. It's like, I don't know, it's probably 200 feet long and 75 feet wide,
Okay,
80
yeah.
feet wide.
Yeah,
Something
you
like
told
that.
me like 100 by 50 or
Yeah,
something.
I was busy,
Doing something else and
and I just spouted something out to get you
to be quiet.
because I had stuff. I had stuff in my head. I was rolling around, and that jumbled it up.
So that's about how big it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's big enough to work you.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
It is, but it's such a joy
It
for
is.
us. Yeah, we just love it, and we love the food that comes out of it, and that's just and just the miraculous wonder of planting a seed and watching it grow.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to the talking about the animals, other things, just thought of this thinking about the corn down there growing, is that when you first plant your corn, sometimes a crow might come along and pull it up to try to get the little kernel, the goodie at the bottom. So we'll have to, I don't know what we're going to do about it. Did we do anything about that last year, or we just hoped for the best and let it go? Or maybe that was the streamers was supposed to help with that.
I don't remember. I kept a watch on it, and they didn't really get in it. But now we've got some crows that's
Hanging
basically
around.
living here.
Yeah, they're just living in the yard.
So I don't know. They may try to get into it. I don't know.
We noticed that our friend down the road this year had done something that, and you don't need to worry about it till it just gets so high. Then you don't have to worry about it no more. It's when it's just first coming up. But he did a thing that we learned about several years ago from Justin Metcalf here on YouTube, and it was he had great old big fields. Of course, he had a big farm, but or has a big farm. But he used like VHS, the film, like from an old tape, and then stretched it, across like in an X or whatever, and because it's so limber and so slight, it just constantly ripples. Even if there's not a big wind, it's just rippling. And that would keep the crows out of it. And I noticed Tim had done that this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we could do something like that. Make a big X down there over the corn.
I got an idea.
What?
Kill two birds with one stone.
What?
We will do that, and we will use our wedding tape to do that with.
No,
And then
gosh,
I won't have to be subject to watching that ever again.
No. These nice people want to watch it. I'd have to figure out how to let them watch it, but they want to watch
Are
it.
you going to put it on there?
I don't know. I've been asked to.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My plan's been foiled.
Yeah. anyway, we need to do that. And
If you do watch that, if you do get it up there, people can see what I look like when I had hair.
yeah, we can. I had more hair in those days too. Another thing people have asked a lot about questions, thinking about the questions that we've been getting, is would we ever try like the Three Sisters method of planting corn? That's where you plant your corn and then you plant your beans and they grow up around it, and then you plant squash underneath, and it all works together. There's like the different plants and the way they interact with the soil, it all helps each other. We've never done that and probably wouldn't ever do it because we grow a sweet corn and it's pretty easy to pull it down. So Granny used to do that to Matt and Daddy when they were not looking. She would put beans in the corn like that, and instead of just growing up it, they would just pull it down. It's just not, I think that would work better if you had like field corn that gets really tall and is really stout.
Right.
And maybe you have great success doing it with silver queen too. That's what we grow. But Matt would never let me do that because it makes such a mess, and I don't really want to do it either. But it just turns into kind of a jungle. If you do it on the scale, if you're growing like what we are. Now if you were just growing, a few, like a raised bed full of 2 or 3 stalks of corn and a little bit, I'm sure that would work better.
We could, when we plant that next bunch of corn, we could do a row like that and just as a test and see if it'll hold it up.
Yeah.
If you want.
Yeah, you can, whatever you say.
Then might have a little bit of later beans too.
Yeah.
By doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can try it and see how it does.
Yeah. But for all those people that ask, we've never done that intentionally, other than Granny did it to Matt and Daddy, and they'd get aggravated at her.
I remember I didn't know she had done it, and I wasn't paying attention, and I went down there and I decided I was going to till the corn. And I don't remember how tall it was. It was up, I don't know, waist high probably. And I just took off in there with the tiller, and it got wrapped up in that stuff. And I seen the corn start pulling it down, and I stopped and thought, what in the world is that? And when I got to looking, I could tell it was beans. And I said, Granny.
Granny struck again.
Yeah. So I had to stop, and I couldn't till. It was so weedy in there, I thought, I'm going to run the tiller one more trip through this corn and then just let it go. But I had to stop right there.
And we could try it and see what happens.
It'd be all those other varieties of beans that you have that you wanted to plant. That'd be somewhere to put them.
And we could try too. We could try, which is hard to give up our silver queen, but you could try one row of. I've got some field corn in there. You could try one row of it.
Well, what would you do with the corn?
Well, you'd let it dry then make hominy or grind it or whatever. I have a mill in there now. We could grind it and grind our own.
Well,
but yeah, we could make hominy out of it.
Okay.
So we could try that. I don't know. You think about it and see what you think.
Okay.
One other question, while we're still answering the questions, was about when Matt, the video where we did plant the corn was, well, why does Matt not use the tractor to do the rows? Like he used that little wheel hoe. Is that it? I say wheel hoe. I'm on a roll today saying stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, why does he not use the tractor to do that, to do his rows?
Well, number one, I don't have an implement to do it with. And both ends of that garden are blocked off to where you can't. I mean, it looks to me like you'd need to be able to drive off both ends of the garden to keep from messing up what you just dug.
Yeah.
You've got all that wood and then all that other junk down there, and then on this end is Corey and Austin's yard, and now she's planted a bed in the end of it, and then there's the grapevines and stuff down there. So that's one reason I've never bought the implement, just because you can't do it that way. And I don't want to stop with a tractor's length of row still to do, and I still have to do that by hand.
Yeah,
so
it just seems easier just to do it.
And we've always done it by hand.
Yeah.
You used to do it with a regular hoe.
Yeah.
We used to lay off all those rows with just a regular hoe, all the corn rows.
And the whole garden
And the
tilled
whole garden.
with just a walk behind tiller until last year's first year.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and the bulk of the work.
Well, let's see. Maybe one time, a long time ago, you had a tiller on a track with that yellow tractor.
Yeah, I think I did it
Yeah,
one
I
year
think
with
so.
that old
Yeah.
tractor and tiller. But anyway.
Anyway, yeah, mostly it was just a walk behind tiller. Pap had like 2 tillers or 3, and we'd all be down there. People would be going different ways doing the tilling, trying to till it all up in the spring.
But now to me, that's the bulk of the hard work in the garden, is getting it ready to plant. And then, you know, making the rows by hand and planting them by hands, we kind of like that, or I do.
Yeah.
And I know you do.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So-
I love all of it.
So I don't see any reason to change that really, and it's not so big that you can't do it in a part of a day.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah,
no other reason really
Yeah.
other than that,
yeah.
you know.
But everybody should do what they want to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
What's the saying? Justin's saying?
Yeah.
Best way to do things the way you want to do
Right.
them. Yeah.
Now, if you
So-
had a great big field, and I mean big fields, then absolutely that'd be the thing to do
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, like one of Justin Metcalf's fields, you wouldn't be wanting to use a
No,
hoe on
no.
that. Yeah.
But for no bigger than what we've got down there, then I think what we're doing works fine, and it's a little work, but it's enjoyable work, and it kind of keeps you connected with the old way. And that's even though we've got the big beast of a tractor now
Yeah.
to do the really hard work, still kind of keeps you, connected to the old ways, and we kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that day that Matt and I worked down there planting the corn, and it was rain, we were kind of trying to beat the storms, but it was just such a joyous day. The weather was just kind of perfect, even with the thunder in the distance. And then that gives you makes you feel like you're really working against something you're trying to beat, gives you a little challenge.
Kind of like a Gunsmoke episode.
Yeah, right. Like there's a little bit of turmoil up in
Yeah.
the sky, and you're working. And
Yeah.
one time years ago, it was going to storm, and I don't remember if Pap had already plowed up the taters. I don't remember what it was, but Granny told me I was doing something else, said, come and help me, hurry, it's going to storm and we've got to get the taters up. And so we did, we got them, and we were hurrying, both of us, and carrying them up to the house. And see, we don't even think nothing about that. Like in those days, of course, Granny was more like me, more fit, but we got them and didn't drive them. We carried them up to the hill, up to her house, buckets of them. But then we got them all safely up there, and we were both just looked at each other and smiled like we did it, And then I said, I feel like we were on Little House on the Prairie. And she thought that was so funny. She couldn't wait till Pap got home from work. Daddy got home that day to tell him, you know what Chipper said? She said she felt we was getting the taters before it rained. She said she felt like it was Little House on the Prairie. I said, well, it did. It felt like I was trying to overcome the long winter or something on Little House. So it's just, but that's just my happy place. That's just what me and Matt like to do. And he's told that, people tease and say that I work him too hard, but he's shared once or twice that on the video, but in case you didn't hear him, that he was interested in growing things before I met him. And one year you did a garden
Yeah.
by yourself out
Yeah.
there, so he was already interested in it. And certainly all the years of working with Daddy in the garden, I know.
Yeah, I was young
Yeah.
back then and didn't really know anything about it, and I can't even remember. Can't remember how we got the ground turned. We'd have definitely had to either got somebody to do it or borrowed a tiller or something, because we didn't have one. But I remember planting it, and remember out there tending it and fooling with it, and really didn't know a whole lot about what I was doing, but I was learning.
Yeah.
And I knew enough about it to know I liked it, because I liked to eat the food from it.
Yeah.
And from that, here we are doing this.
Yeah.
So I've always been interested in it.
And it's funny, different people for different things that's common in your life. But like for me, it's growing up in a family that always made a garden. It's just like that's just what you do. In the spring of the year, you do this, and then you have corn, and then you harvest, then you put up tomatoes, and you can green beans, and you do all that. That's just what you do. And of course, there's a joy in it, but it's almost like, what would I do if I didn't do that?
That'd be
I mean,
horrible.
I'd be lost. And there may come someday that I can't do that. We never know as far as your health and things like that. Of course, I know that. There may come a time I can't do that. I hope, that makes me tear up, but I hope if I can't do it that Corey and Katie, and I know they would, they'd be like me and Matt today helping Granny out to sit in the chair so that she can watch what we're doing, even though she can no longer do it.
Right.
So it is something I truly enjoy, though, and Matt does too. Matt likes it too.
Yep.
Especially the eating. That's what Matt likes.
Gosh,
I
yeah.
love every part of it, every stage. Even there's part of me, even today I'm hot and it was getting really hot working down at Granny's, but there's part of me that likes that hot sweat and just having to push through, and there's a joy to it.
I really like the canning too.
Yeah, Matt likes the canning as much, or probably more than I do.
I love to can. Basically just because, I mean, you know you're preserving the food, but it's about a lost art that's going away. And I like knowing that I know how to do it, and you know how to do it, and we know how to. If we absolutely had to, we can preserve our food, and if that's all the food we got, we'll make it.
Yeah.
And not only what we grow, we can. We can can meat, and I have done that lots.
Yeah, we can do meat.
I mean, you can just about anything.
Yeah.
Or, also the pickling process.
And drying and freezing.
That's
all
absolutely an art.
Yeah, the fermentation.
And I've not done any of that in a while. We used to do some of it, and we've about got away from it, but we need to do some of it just to keep the skill.
We do kraut every year, but yeah, Matt wants to do, and you wanted to do last year, and we never got it accomplished. But pickled beans and corn, maybe this will be the year. Maybe you do some.
And I'd like to do it too in my grandma's old crock.
Yeah.
Because that thing's got to be over 100 years old, and I just like the idea of putting up food in that same vessel that she did decades and decades ago. And it fed my daddy and his brothers and sisters, and that's what got them by. And using the same same vessel to do it in, there's something to that, I think.
Yeah, something powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have used it before, so it's fed us too.
We just haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, fed us too. Speaking of feeding us, what are we going to do for supper? I guess you about come unfed. I did make him a grilled cheese, but for dinner.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what I'd like to have.
What?
That we ain't gonna have. A big mess of fresh fish.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Wouldn't it? But ain't gonna have it till you go get it.
You go get it, or somebody like Steve brought us the one fish, and boy, it was good.
Gosh, yeah.
Me and Matt ate it, just us. We ate it, and it was good.
Yeah.
One fish between us, but it was delicious.
It sure was.
Yeah. Well, we should hope that you enjoyed coming along with us today for us to plant our tomatoes, and hope that we answered some of the questions people have had. And if you didn't have those questions, I hope you enjoyed hearing the answers anyway. We're always glad when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia, and we hope you'll just keep doing that this summer, and you'll be able to see us harvesting those beautiful tomatoes and making tomato juice and putting up tomatoes and making Matt's pickles and everything else, your tomato pickles.
Yeah.
All that.